What's up, guys? Back from the deck profile here. Now, I have a Dragon Link, Dragon Ruler Thunder for you. I've actually been having a great success with this deck, a lot of fun. The Dragon Rulers are actually pretty good. Originally, when I was building this, I was like, man, dude, it's just, they're so outclassed, they're so old, but they actually are just insane, realistically. Also, you guys can see I have my own koozie, dude. Sonny P, YouTube Sonny P koozies. My girlfriend has a Facebook page, TM Crafty Creations. I'll put it down, link in the bio. But she makes a bunch of stuff, and you know what I'm saying. You know, we'll get the merch and stuff rolling. But I have a combo video for you at the end of this. A couple honorable mentions, very in-depth deck profile. The one thing I do want to state about this list is if it looks very strange to you, the technical play with this deck is very strong. You have to be very on your P's and Q's with it. So, all right, without further ado, babe, it's Dragon Link, Dragon Ruler Thunder. Also, you guys can see the Dragon Ruler sleeves. All right, take my time with this. All right, you ready, baby?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so obviously I'm playing one of each ruler. I just couldn't not. I have to play them all for this profile. What was weird was Tidal coming back just doesn't really do much unless you're playing Mermails or unless you're playing the Adventure engine. But Tempest, I think, is the best one. Redox is the close second. And honestly, Blaster is kind of good if you're playing against, like, if you lose the die roll against, like, you know, glue decks or whatever. So then we're playing the Red MD. We are playing the other dude. This card's actually incredible. Shout out my boy Jamar, he gave me one of these. And then obviously the 3 black metal. This card's not once per turn, as everyone knows. I'm actually not playing Safer in this deck. I was playing one Safer. Actually, sorry, I was playing 2 Safers at the beginning of this week. Cut to 1, and then I just realized a couple times I just never needed it, so I cut it. But we are playing the Rose Dragon stuff. You guys know I just, you know, this is very standard with the Dragon Ruler stuff on Master Duel, but I was playing this for a long time. I just really enjoy this engine. Mainly because the Rocks Rose, you normal summon to get the spell. The Basil Rose shoot, and if they do droll you there, you can at least make Striker, and then Basil Rose shoot this back and make Seal, if your hand can't extend further than that. Opening Red Rose is insane, so, and then we are playing the Nemesis stuff, 3 Flag, 3 Corridor, and 1 Protos. I feel like this stuff is just way too good to ignore. It was so good at one point that I almost considered playing Bonfire in here just to search Flag more. Also, wants to note 2 Flag is a fire for Blaster. Corridor is a win for Tempest. One nice thing about the rulers too is with Protos, it kind of gives you a very good rogue matchup. Like if you don't know what's going on, or like, you know, you play game 1, if you win or lose or whatever, you know what to call next time. But all the rulers are all different attributes basically, other than light and dark, and Protos is already dark, so. But you can kind of lock them out of whatever they're playing. It's very good. Really enjoyed it. So I think Protos is 100% worth the price tag right now, even though it'll probably just get banned right next to this. So, and then obviously the Bystials, 3 Lubellion, 1 Magnemite, 1 Baldrake, and 2 Sarniers. I'm actually not playing Druid Swarm. I was playing Druid Swarm, and I cut it for another card in here I'll talk about. But Sarnier is very important. I'd rather play double Sarnier than one of all the names, because the Sarnier at least sends another dragon to keep the rulers rolling. You know what I mean. So, and also you can Sarnier, dump Lubellion, banish the Sarnier, special it back with Dispatter, tribute it for the Lubellion, or you could just tribute the Dispatter and bring it back on your opponent's turn anyways, but you know what I'm saying. So Druid Swarm is very good. I'd probably side a bunch of the Bystials though anyways. So then for the Baby Chaos, of course, white-black. We are playing Destrudo. Destrudo is incredible. This is the main card you send off of Ravine because Ancient Fairy is broken. I will say that there's a big thing with Ancient Fairy Dragon in this list. Very big fan of Destrudo. And then Galactic Spiral. I was playing the other horse named the Debna Tefnuet. You guys know the water one. Because I was like, oh, it's water. It'll be great with Tempest. And it just wasn't. It never really came up for what I was trying to do. So I cut it for Galactic Spiral, and Galactic Spiral was insane. So I 100% kept it. I can't believe Galactic Spiral doesn't have a foil print either. So, and then for the horse stuff, these are down right now. I would 100% buy these. I don't know why this engine's being so slept on, but just 3 Omseti, 1 Happy. I really like Debna Tefnuet as well, but you know, I just didn't feel like I was going to fit in here. So, and then for the one-ofs, we were playing the Shiren. Shiren's insane. I'm actually going to talk about Shiren a little bit later. And then we are playing E-Tel in here too. Just 1 mental tuner, 1 driver, and 1 Gamma, 1 driver. this is all completely fine. The a bunch of this is part of the combo. I'll pull this aside too. So. And the last monster is just 3 Fenrir. Obviously, it's an Earth. It's a level 7. It fits everything. It's great playing into boards. Great, leaving on the board. Like, his card's incredible. Yeah, so that's kind of where I was at. Not playing any hand traps. Obviously, the hand traps fit all the attributes like Droll. Droll was the one I was trying to fit in here the most. Outside of Nib. Nib was probably one of the better cards. I just didn't feel like it was necessary to play hand traps in this list. One thing I want to talk about, since we are playing E-Tellies, obviously you can play Ghost Ogre in here. Ogre is very insane in the format, of course. And then for the spells, the Ravine, the Boot Sector. So obviously you guys are going to go Boot Sector. Why the fuck are you playing this? You're not playing any fucking rockets. This is one of the cards that kind of gets you the +1. It's the same logic with regular Thunder Dragon, but also it gives you a field spell to pop with Ancient Fairy Dragon for free, and it chain blocks the Black Metal, which is very important. And then we are playing the Chicken Game. This card is very good. Nobody remembers what this card does, I will say that. You can pay the 1,000. Sometimes you will, have to get rid of it yourself. But a lot of the time, too, you just can kind of leave it there and be like, oh, break my board through the Horus stuff. This Chicken Game plus the Horus cards is very insane because they have to deal with this. And if they deal with this first, then the Horus stuff triggers. And if they can't, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a back and forth. So the last field spell was the Imperial Tombs. All of this stuff is very detrimental to the Ancient Fairy Dragon stuff like I was talking about. That's why I put back the Shiren Baby Companion down here. I really wanted to play 1 Perlarino just to search the Shiren because that's how good this card is. But I didn't own one and I just didn't want to proxy it for this list. In theory, it's very good. In Rarity Collection 2, it'll be great. But obviously, we are playing set rotation also because that card's very good against Tenpai, but also just very good in general. But there was one hand I drew today when I was playing, and I couldn't resolve this because I already went through 3 of the 4 field spells, which kind of made me sad. And I was like, man, if I just had Perlarino, it would have been insane. So, 1 set rotation, the Basil Rose Shoot, Chaos Space, 1 for 1, Foolish. Foolish was one of those cards I went back and forth on, but it just ended up being way too good. So there was like a couple hands that like was defining my hand, and I was like, okay. Last one was obviously the Regain, of course. And then since I'm playing the Wall of the Imperial Tombs, I had to make space for a bunch of cards, so I'm only playing 2 King Sark. I know that might sound bad, but I think 2 is fine for this. A lot of the time I drew multiples, so I was it's fine. And then the 3 ofs, the 3 E-Telly for the Mental Tuner and the Gamma. And then the last card, the Talents. Talents, I think, is almost, in my opinion, mandatory right now in anything you're playing, depending. But I think that card's just insane, so especially with all the hand traps that are just... and then for the extra deck, like you guys saw the Dragon Roller Sleeve, shout out my boy Lewis. The 1 Colossus for the Corridor. I just love this card so much. Obviously the Striker, the Romulus, the 1 Seal, the 1 SP, the 1 Reproductus for the Protoss. We'll talk about this later, which you guys probably already know, so it's not a big deal. But this can turn a guy to a different attribute, aka Protoss, or not even Protoss, and then pop it and whatever. And then you can also turn a different type, so if the Corridor gets sniped off the board by like a back row or something, you still resolve the Thunder effect in hand, so you can target something, make it Thunder, make Colossus. Last link is the access code. This extra deck is very interesting because there's a couple things you could change if you wanted to. One of the Doom Riders, this was my only level 7 or rank 7 Exceed that I was playing for the Rulers, or the Fenrir or whatever. And then Zombie Vampire, of course. This card is just the new Chaos Angel, so not as good, but you know what I'm saying. Ancient Fairy, probably one of the best cards in the deck. And then I want to talk about the last 4 synchros. They're all 10s. So I'm playing the Changing, the Dispatter, the Chaos Angel, and the Trident Dragon. So I'm going to go through these real fast. Obviously, Changing is insane playing into a board. It's also very good if you have multiple Bestials. You know what I'm saying? So this card is just incredible. Also a water for title. Dispatter, I don't even have to talk about this card. Chaos Angel comes up a lot when you have Ancient Fairy and one of the Rose Dragons, because they're light and dark, so you can make this. And then Trident Dragon, so this was, obviously the Tenpai stuff and the hype, and don't worry, I didn't pay $100 or whatever the fuck for this. Me and my boy Cody bought ours at right before YCS Vegas. But this card, so I'm going to talk about the flex spot for this. This is not mandatory, but there was a couple hands where I hard drew Protos, and I couldn't get to like the exact lines that I wanted to. So I was like, oh, I could just play this. I'll talk about the honorable mentions. I could play this and make it a fire, and then Protos pop, and then the fire matchup just couldn't play. Also, another application with this card is it gets chicken game off your board if you're unable to get rid of it yourself. Going second, assuming. And then let me show you the combo real quick before I show you the honorable mentions. Let me just pull out the pieces right quick. Let's see the hand. It's been a while since I had a combo video, baby. Excuse me. Alright, so we got that. This. I'll pull these aside. Where's the boys at? Where are they at? Yes, we're going to talk about this and this. And then this, these two. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. Okay, so for this hand, the combo is just, so can you see down here, babe? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're going first, 5-card starter. Now, if your hand includes one of these 2 cards, or if you just hard open Protos, this combo makes any of this happen. So I'm going to leave these right here just in case, we'll just say one of these cards is one of these. It doesn't matter. But I'll go right through it. So you just normal summon the black metal. You see the graveyard, babe? Mm-hmm. Man, I can't remember the last time I asked that. Chain link 1, chain link 2, and this is important to chain block this to search this, the boot 6, and the red MD, and then you banish. I'll put just banish down here. Can you still see that, baby? Mm-hmm. Banish for red MD effect, special back. Link these 2 away. For Romulus, chain link 1, chain link 2. Add. Okay, and then you'll reveal for cost for the dude to send driver to graveyard. Special. Now this guy's treated as level 7, which is very insane too, because in case you open one of the Rose Dragon cards, that's just, you can just do the Bestial, the whole wombo. But for this play, we normally just do this to make seal, just to ensue that the nib doesn't just absolutely rip our board apart. Okay, now here's where I'm talking about this. You see the graveyard, babe?
Yeah.
So we have 3 darks, a light, and a wind. So if you did open Protos, Protos is live. If you open Flag, you know what I mean? You could do whatever you wanted to do. Obviously, you have the Ravine with the discard for Boot Sector to send a ruler or something you wanted to get, you know what I mean? And then you could put the thing that you banished back in the deck with either one of these, search this, whatever you want to do it. It also gives you the line for the field spell line. You know what I mean, to do the Ancient Fairy stuff. And Ancient Fairy can also special the Flag from hand if you're going first, which is kind of important. But I just want to show that combo just because it puts 3 attributes in graveyard, which I thought was kind of important. It came up a lot. And then just a couple honorable mentions. I did want to talk about Bonfire for Flag. I just never really saw fit for it, so I cut it. I mentioned the Perlarino. Terraforming, I think, was too slow. And then, let's see what else. Cyframe Delta would definitely side, probably. Ghost Ogre, Droplet. And then for the honorable mentions, just real quick for the extra deck, the Omega. The Trident Dragon was Omega. I just didn't see that this play with Dispatter was that relevant. I don't know, like the hand rip for 2 is cool and all, but if they just have Ash, then it's just Snake Eye Ash, then you're just like, whoa, okay, I'm not a big fan of that. And then obviously the Ruddy Rose, the Blackwing dude, which I still think is pretty good. Second Seal came up a couple times, and then this was like another engine with the Selene and the Big Eye. Obviously this you can, any virus, these 2. But I thought for the spellcasters with the Dragon Rollers, this was relevant. You know what I mean? So, and I think that was everything. Also Draco Sack, you can make the 2 tokens into IP, all that stuff. And then, yeah. And I'll see you guys later. I hope you enjoyed it. Cheers.